Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Special Operations Committee meeting for Wednesday, April 26th. I'll call the meeting to order. As we gather this morning, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we're meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we're extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who've taken care of this land for thousands of years. Just confirm that roll call has been taken.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and there's quorum.
Thank you, Evelyn. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in any of the matters before us this morning? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, Public Works and Engineering Department report and the Infrastructure Division report. Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 1 is PWC 2023-28, C197 at Mansky Swamp Culvert. And the recommendation is that the Operations Committee recommends that contract PWC 2023-28 as submitted by Channel Line International Fiberglass Manufacturing, LLC, Dubai, for the manufacture, supply, and delivery of a single glass reinforced plastic pipe liner for County Structure C197 at Mansky Swamp Culvert, located on County Road 62, John Street, in the Township of Madawaska Valley, in the amount of $332,408 plus applicable taxes be approved, and further that County Council pass a bylaw to authorize execution of the contract.
Okay, can I have a mover and a seconder for the recommendation? Moved by Ward Nemo, seconded by the member from McNabb-Braeside. Perhaps an overview of the background?
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. So the background is there, but I will attempt to summarize. So this structure was scheduled for rehabilitation originally in 2021. Unfortunately, the design consultant at the time identified that it wasn't designed with enough capacity for the cover that was over top of the pipe, in the range of 9 to 10 meters of cover over top of this one. So they identified that replacement may be the better option. Whenever we went down the replacement design review, we identified that there was concrete encased bell ducts over top of the structure, only about a meter below the roadway. So in order to replace the structure, it would be approximately a 40-meter wide excavation. So those bell ducts would have to be supported throughout the excavation and the project duration. Given that, the challenges associated with it, and the need for closing the road for that option, staff began reviewing alternatives. We came across a box lining solution and found that it had been used and approved by MTO and been used by the City of Hamilton, I believe, as well. Given that, we had our design consultant review the option and found that it was viable hydraulically, would limit the traffic impact as we no longer would have to close the road, and allowed us to complete the work at a similar budget with less risk associated with having to support utilities and such. So as a result, we issued an RFP and received the single bid. Although it was only a single bid, it is considered competitive in a similar price range as it would be for a concrete box replacement, which we would have had to do if we went that route. And again, limits the risk and reduces traffic impact in the area as well.
Thank you for that. Any comments or questions? Member from Arnprior.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just looking at the word Dubai. Are we talking Dubai like across the ocean? There's nobody in Canada that makes these things? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the councillor from Arnprior. So they have an office based out of Montreal, and they also have a main office based out in the States. However, their actual manufacturing and billing is completed in Dubai.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I just was wondering if you have any idea of when the construction will start and how long it will last.
Mr. Henrith.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the councillor from Madawaska Valley. So it does take some time for manufacturing and shipping, considering where it's coming from. It will be later in the summer, potentially starting near the start of August and stretching into September.
Thank you. And the member from Renfrew, Warden Emo, sorry.
Thank you. Just very, very quickly, so the process is, this is something that slots inside the existing structure as opposed to ripping it out, and then as the existing structure deteriorates over the next 30 years, this replaces it?
Mr. Hanrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the Warden. That is correct. So it is a self-supporting structure. It can handle the cover that is over top, regardless of the structure that it is lining. And as the existing structure deteriorates around it, this would take the full load of the road above it.
Yeah, I had to think about that myself for a little bit, so. Anything further? I'll call a question. All those in favor? And that is carried. And we'll move on to item number 2.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 2 is PWC 2023-44, rehabilitation of county structure B044 Douglas Bridge. And the recommendation is that the Operations Committee recommends that contract PWC 2023-44 as submitted by Bonisher Excavating Incorporated, BEI, of Renfrew, Ontario, for rehabilitation of county structure B044 Douglas Bridge, located on County Road 5, Stone Road, in the Township of Admaston Brumley, in the amount of $741,223 plus HST, be approved, and further that County Council pass a bylaw to authorize execution of the contract.
Can I have a mover for the recommendation? The member from McNabb Braeside and seconded by the member from Madawaska Valley. Mr. Hanrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee, I'll provide a summary of the background. So this structure is in need of rehabilitation. We originally budgeted for $1.8 million for the overall project, which would include finishing the design, completing CA services, and the construction. At the time of budgeting, it was anticipated that there could be a higher contingency was allocated because there could be a high number of concrete repairs in the deck of the structure. However, following further design analysis of the detailed condition survey that was completed last year, it was confirmed that we could reduce those concrete repairs. Additionally, there was additional contingency because there was uncertainty with the traffic control measures that would be required for the project. We weren't sure if we could get away with staging the project, having to close a single lane, or having to do a massive detour. As the committee may recall, we did present a number of options that were being looked at by the consultant, and we were to limit the cost of the traffic control measures at the bridge. So as a result, we were anticipating it to come under budget. However, even the low tender came in lower than we anticipated. However, we've reviewed the submissions. They've met all of the requirements for the scope of work, and there are no outstanding issues with their submission.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. And we can move right along to item number 3.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 3 is County Road 512, Foymount Road, Hydro 1 Class A cost estimate. And the recommendation is that the proposed Class A estimate for Hydro 1 for the relocation of the lines along corridor of County Road 512, Foymount Road, between Bulow Road and Miller Road, in the Township of Bonisher Valley, in the amount of $423,740.13, plus applicable taxes, be approved, and further that County Council pass a bylaw to authorize execution of the works.
Could I get a mover and seconder for the motion? Member from Madawaska Valley, seconded by the member from Laurentian Valley. Mr. Hanrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee, I'll summarize the background a little bit. As committee is aware, we're moving forward the reconstruction of Foymount Road in this area. This is the Phase 2 section that we updated on delays on at the last meeting of Operations Committee. And this is the cost estimated associated with the county's portion of the utility relocates in that section. So this is the cost of 50% of labor and labor-saving devices that the county is responsible for utility relocations. We are still continuing to work with Hydro 1 and are in the process of drafting letters to Hydro 1 and Bell to help expedite the project as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Any comments or questions? Warden Emo.
I've always struggled with Hydro 1. I think that's apparent. But I guess one of my questions, this figure of $423,000 seems a little extravagant, given they make money off of it, we don't. And secondly, it's been my experience on occasion, Hydro One's been very lazy in the past, and they locate their posts about a foot off the side of the road. So anytime you have to do something, and I recognize that this is probably not the instance here for the most part, but I'm curious if there are any poles that should have been placed somewhere else a long time ago that we're paying to move now because they were lazy and it was easy for them to follow the road path. And is there a means of appealing that and driving this cost down? Thank you.
I don't have an answer for that, but I'll pass this along to.
I'm not sure anybody does.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the warden, I'll attempt to answer. For the most part, these poles are a fair piece off the roadway. There are some that aren't placed conveniently or are already within the existing ditch that have to be moved as a result. As far as the appealing process, I'm unsure if the one exists. We are kind of held to what they require of us or what we require.
Thank you. That's the beauty of YouTube. I'm very hopeful that Hydro One pays close attention to everything the County of Renfrew does and all of our committee meetings.
Thank you for that. Anything further? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, now we will move on to the Operations Division report, and can be found on page 9.
Thank you, Chair Doncaster. I present the Operations Division report for April 26th. Under bylaws, item number 1 is contract PWC 2023-19, County Road 37, Murphy Road rehabilitation. And the recommendation that the Operations Committee recommends that contract PWC 2023-19 as submitted by H&H Construction Incorporated, Petawawa, Ontario, for the rehabilitation of County Road 37, Murphy Road, from Portage Road to Woodland Crescent, Town of Petawawa, in the amount of $710,091.74 plus HST be approved, and further that County Council pass a bylaw to authorize the execution of the contract.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Armpire, seconded by the member from McNabb Braeside. Summary of the background?
Thank you again, Chair Doncaster. This contract is for the rehabilitation of Murphy Road from Portage Road to Woodland Crescent in the town of Petawawa. We received 2 bids, the low bid being from H&H Construction Incorporated from Petawawa, Ontario, in the amount of $710,091.74. You can see the chart with the financial implications, and we have sufficient funds in the budget to proceed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Comments or questions? Member from Armpire.
Thank you, Chair. Just to make a comment on the winning bid, in that we had these people, or that company in Armpire, and we were a little late getting it done. So I'm just a bit concerned that we'll have more guidance when they're doing Petawawa than they did in Armpire. Thank you.
I think staff will take that under advisement. One question I had is, so is this a full depth rehabilitation of this section of the road?
Through you to you and to committee, this is a basic rehabilitation. We're going to be, so it's not full depth. We're not digging out the base, but it is the surface and 2 layers of asphalt there.
Okay, just reflecting on the price and wondering how much was being done. So, anything further on the bylaw on item number 1 on the Operations Division report? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. And then, still no closed session? Nope. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the report as a whole? Moved by the Councillor Bennett, seconded by the member from Arnprior. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. Our next Operations Committee meeting, regular meeting, will be May 16th. Obviously, County Council in about 15 minutes. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by the member from Madawaska Valley, seconded by the member from McNabb Braeside. All those in favor? That's carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.